I finally went back to the university to collect my documents, my subject scores to official papers, everything I needed after dropping out. I also submitted a request for a refund since I had overpaid my tuition. The moment I planned the visit, I had a strange feeling in my gut that something would go wrong at the security checkpoint. There are a few guards there who are known for abusing their authority, constantly stopping people, intimidating students, especially when someone's access card stops working, which happens often. Sometimes cards work for months, sometimes for years. I had personally seen students, mostly young women, reduced to tears just for simple mistakes, even girls attending evening courses. I always try to follow rules. I believe security matters. But there was one particular guard I deeply disliked. Let's call him the Imp. He had never caused trouble for me before, but something about him felt hostile, unnecessarily aggressive, always looking for control. Trusting my instincts and knowing my ID card had already been deactivated, I borrowed an active card from a group of guys standing outside. I slipped inside without any issues, then quietly passed the card back through the fence. Clean, quick, no drama. Inside, everything went smoothly. I collected my documents, finished my business, and headed toward the exit. I didn't want to waste time checking different exits, trying to guess which guard might be in a good mood. So I decided to go straight through the main checkpoint. Of course, the Imp was on duty. I knocked on his window calmly, politely, and explained that I no longer had an ID because I was no longer a student. His attitude changed instantly. He became aggressive, refused to unlock the gate, and started interrogating me about how I got inside. I told him I had entered earlier through another entrance, back when my student ID was still active. He didn't believe me. He began threatening reports, calls, consequences, accusing me of being somewhere I didn't belong. I tried to reason with him, asking whether he intended to keep me there against my will. But logic didn't work. People like him don't respond to logic. That's when something clicked in my mind. I noticed the connection between writing an incident report and the office located behind the gate. I didn't fully plan it. I acted on instinct. I began verbally confronting him, raising my voice, expressing anger, calling out his behavior, while pretending I was about to turn back into campus. I felt strangely calm, almost detached, like I was testing a theory. And it worked. He shouted, "What did you just say?" He stormed out of his booth, grabbed my arm, trying to drag me inside the office. To do that, he had to open the gate. The moment it opened, I pulled free, looked at him, and said, "I don't study here anymore," and I walked out. Behind me, I heard him yelling, swearing, completely losing control. Around us, students started laughing. The tension disappeared instantly. Maybe I provoked the situation. Maybe I wasn't polite, but I achieved my goal. I don't regret directing it at someone who used fear to control others. I felt no guilt, only relief, and a small sense of satisfaction. It felt like solving a real-life puzzle, a moment where instinct, timing, and confidence aligned perfectly. I want to start by saying this story might feel a little scattered, not because it's fake, but because I'm still processing it. Some experiences hit you harder than you ever expect. I'm a 32-year-old man. Earlier this year, I met a woman. I'll call her Jay. By July, we were in a relationship, saying, "I love you." I know that moved too fast. Neither of us were emotionally ready, but sometimes hearts don't wait for logic. She had a complicated past, life challenges, children, trying to rebuild herself. And I thought love meant staying. For a short time, everything felt real. I met her family, her kids. I celebrated her son's birthday, bought him a gift, and became genuinely attached. Then suddenly, she pulled away. "I'm not ready," she said. "I can't be in a relationship right now." It hurt deeply because I had genuinely invested myself in her and her life. I worked hard to manage my anxiety and be supportive, but the breakup left me reeling. Months went by. I healed slowly, day by day. Then in November, she reached out again. A soft apology, a message full of emotion. And before I knew it, the familiar words were back. I miss you. I love you. Can we try again? I felt pulled in, and I made a choice, one I would later reflect on heavily. There was a complication. She was still involved with someone from her past, someone with a history of bad decisions and harmful behavior. I asked her to make a clear choice. She couldn't. I felt anxious, pulled in two directions, and realized I was risking my own peace trying to fix someone else's life. For weeks, I wrestled with my emotions. Anger, hurt, and frustration mixed with love and attachment. I wanted to take control of the situation, but I also knew that true control comes from stepping back and letting life unfold. I made a difficult decision, not out of revenge, not out of malice, but to prioritize truth and responsibility over chaos. When I took the step to ensure that boundaries were respected, the emotional backlash from her was intense. Accusations, threats, attempts to manipulate. All of it hit me hard, but I didn't let it derail me. Did I react emotionally at times? Yes. Did I learn from the mistakes I made along the way? Absolutely. And the key lesson? Sometimes love is not about holding on. It's about stepping back, standing up for yourself, and letting consequences unfold naturally. This wasn't about hurting anyone. It was about choosing peace, clarity, and emotional responsibility. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this story, even when someone you care for makes painful choices, you can honor yourself by making wise decisions. By doing so, life shows you its lessons in its own way. If this story resonated with you, remember, love responsibly, protect your peace. Sometimes the hardest choices teach the most valuable lessons. This happened quite a few years ago, back when I was a very young parent. My first child was only a few months old, and life suddenly felt a lot heavier than before. To keep everything going, I was working multiple jobs. One of them was an evening shift at a small but very nice liquor store. I worked late nights, usually closing the store around midnight. Honestly, it was a great job. The customers were decent, the coworkers were friendly, and the owner was calm and easy to work with. There was only one problem: a woman who believed she was the manager. She wasn't actually in charge, but she acted like the store belonged to her. She was extremely territorial, controlling, and for some reason she disliked me from the very beginning. I never understood why. Even her teenage daughter, who also worked there, couldn't explain it. I got along with everyone else just fine, so for the most part, I tolerated her behavior. I needed the job, and aside from her, I truly enjoyed being there. The store owner appreciated my work. I could tell that much. But he also relied on her heavily, so he avoided confronting her, even when she crossed lines. One morning, I came in after having stocked a dairy delivery the night before. At the time, everything looked normal. What I didn't notice was that one carton had a small leak. By the time the store opened the next morning, milk had spread across the floor, creating a mess. The moment she saw it, she exploded. She accused me loudly, aggressively, as if I had done it on purpose, right there behind the counter, in front of customers, coworkers, everyone. I stood there calmly, looked her straight in the eyes, and with the biggest smile I could manage, I said, clearly and loudly, "Hasn't anyone ever told you that you shouldn't cry over spilled milk?" The store went quiet. It was satisfying, but at the same time, I knew something had shifted. The look on her face told me everything. She was furious, and honestly, it felt unsafe. That's when I decided it was time to leave. But I didn't want to just walk away. I wanted things to end properly, quietly, but fairly. That's when I noticed something on the calendar. Her vacation, clearly marked, planned well in advance. I immediately started searching for another job, and I found a great one faster than I expected. The timing was perfect. I gave my 2-week notice, exactly 2 weeks before her vacation was scheduled to begin. When the owner told her that she would need to postpone her time off until a replacement was found, I watched her face change. Frustration, anger, disbelief, all at once. She stared at me, and I couldn't help it. I was smiling. not out of cruelty, but out of relief. Sometimes the most powerful response isn't confrontation. It's simply moving on at the right moment. And that moment was absolutely worth it.